On this page, we're going to look at a few strategies to use in addition to the ones that we've talked about. Now, these strategies on this page are optional. They're not necessarily part of your assignments or anything, but you may want to look through and consider some of these because depending on your child's age and temperament, they can be very effective. Okay? We don't need 50 strategies to parent our out-of-control children. We only really need a handful, and you basically have that handful now. But let's look at a few extra strategies that may be helpful depending on the situation. Ignoring behavior is an overrated parenting strategy, and there's going to be very few things that we want to ignore, but there are some things we want to ignore. For example, bad habits, arguing with the sibling, some cuss words we want to overlook. So it's hard to do nothing. I understand that, but we don't want to provide any attention when they're doing small things, engaging in minor problems. We just want to pick our battles carefully and save our energy for the bigger problems. A strategy that is particularly helpful with younger children is the use of prediction. Here you're going to tell your child your predictions regarding the negative outcomes of his behavior. For example, if he gets caught stealing, you can say, if you continue to steal, people will call you a thief, and when things come up missing, they will blame you. Or if he gets caught in a lie, you can say, if you continue to lie, people will call you a liar, and even if you tell them the truth, they won't believe you. Now, when your predictions come true, which they will eventually, your out-of-control kid is going to begin to trust your judgment. Parents can use natural consequences. We don't want to shield our children from the results of their poor choices unless it puts them in danger. For example, if your child doesn't get to bed on time, then she gets up and goes to school sleepy and tired. Okay? If she doesn't study for a particular test, then she fails that test. If your son doesn't maintain his car, then it falls apart and he has to ride his bike. Now, I know it's hard for some parents to just let their children make these mistakes, but we have to be willing to go ahead and let them make poor choices and experience the uncomfortable emotions associated with their poor choices, because that's the only way the strong-willed, out-of-control, intense kid learns. Parents can also use not-so-natural consequences. These are consequences that can be by parental design. For example, let's say that your daughter parks her car out on the street and it's in the dead of winter and the snow plows come by and plow the streets through the night, and if there's any cars parked on the street, they tow those cars. So you have given your daughter the warning to be sure to park her car in the driveway, and let's say that she refuses to do that. So a not so natural consequence would be that you go get her car, put it in the driveway, and then you charge her a towing fee. Parents can also use work detail. Here you're going to post a list of jobs that need to be done, for example, washing the car, weeding the garden, hosing off the driveway, etc. And then you're going to let your child choose the work detail as a way to make up for any rule violations. Another thing that parents can do is allow their child to hire a substitute. A child may choose to hire someone to do his chore. For example, maybe he pays a sibling $5 of his own money to do his chore for him, or your children can agree to trade chores. So this is just a little twist on the business of chores. Parents can also use humor to deal with family stress. For example, when your children are trying to push your buttons and they're trying to get your intensity, you can do something totally outrageous that nobody was expecting. For example, you could sing "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of music, or you could start dancing the rumba or something like that. Just something totally crazy, totally off the cuff, totally unexpected, a behavior that you've never exhibited before, and your children are going to be like distracted and shocked. I want to share an example of an email that I got from a parent who used this strategy of humor. Her kids were bickering and it was just chaotic and the stress was at a level 10. So she just kind of off the cuff went out on the back deck and started barking like a dog. And it broke the tension of the moment, and all the kids got distracted, and everybody started laughing, and they kind of forgot about what the original problem was. Parents can also use reverse psychology. For example, let's say that your child comes home and he throws his bike there in the front yard just like he always does, but you say, "Son, that's not like you. You're able to do much better than that." Now, this may sound like a crazy thing to do, but this line works because your kids will live up to or down to your expectations. Now, here's a special note to fathers. The number one thing that your daughter needs to hear from you is, "You're beautiful, you're worth fighting for." And the number one thing that your son needs to hear from you is, "I'm proud of you, you've got what it takes." So you want to use that line 100 different ways, 1,000 different ways over the years as you're raising your son or daughter. You want to continually feed them with that line. Now, realize that the same discipline may not work for all children because of the unique features of different children. So try to blend a combination of several different parenting tools to create the most effective disciplinary strategy. Now, don't believe it when your children seem unaffected by discipline. They're going to pretend that it doesn't bother them. So continue to be persistent and consider yourself successful by keeping your parenting plan in place. When children pretend that a discipline doesn't bother them, parents often give up on a discipline, which reinforces the child's disobedience. So remember, you can only control your actions, not your child's reactions.